Well, we're wrapping up World Science Festival coverage here on Talkin' Science. Seeing the crowds, seeing the exhibits happening as well. It's been absolutely incredible. Today, I'm joined by the lovely Ranger Stacey.
Hello.
We're going to be having a chat very, very soon.
Very soon. What about right now?
This is Trekzone's Talkin' Science.
Well, Stacey, welcome to Trekzone. First-time guest, long-time listener.
Thank you very much. I feel very honoured to be part of this. How exciting.
It is, the honour is mine because we say to everyone, and it's kind of everywhere in Australia, that everyone knows Ranger Stacey. I grew up with you on Totally Wild. That was, many moons ago, but not too long ago. And then I got to work at Channel 10 and got to see you around the office as well. It's just been incredible. So once again, as I said to Dan yesterday, you're a bucket list guest, but by no means the least.
Oh, stop it. No, it's been certainly a journey. I mean, you're talking about watching Totally Wild, growing up as a kid. That was back in 1992 we started. So we're talking 31 years ago this year.
Yeah.
So where does the time go? But here I am at World Science Festival 2023, Brisbane.
And you first started in 92 at like the age of 14, surely.
Of course, I was just a girl.
But there was the background there. You weren't just a TV personality. You were actually a ranger.
Yeah, that's how I started my career. As a child, I always loved getting into the outdoors and discovering and just, getting my hands dirty and climbing trees. When school finished, I thought, what am I going to do? And I heard about a course at Gatton College, which is now part of Queensland University. Became a ranger, worked in the field for quite a number of years, had the badge and the uniform to show it and to prove it. And television just kind of happened a little bit by accident for me. I never planned it, but really I have not looked back.
And I think the best thing that I love out of the Totally Wild journey for you is that your life changed with Totally Wild. And, my boss, you met him working on Totally Wild as well. He'll get a bit of a blush out of that one.
No, it did change my life, actually. I was only quite young when I started Totally Wild. I was in my 20s. Now I'm in my 50s, so I can't hide that, everyone gets older and it's a privilege. But I did meet my husband, Rob, back in the end of 1992. He'd come back from working overseas as a cameraman. He looked at me through the lens and the rest is history.
I love it. And just that journey, Totally Wild, it lasted for 30 years until the constriction of the Australian television industry. I think that's the nicest way to put it, because Paramount obviously owns 10 now, and we love Paramount for their Star Trek work and all the rest of it. But very unfortunate that it went down that way. But let's not dwell on that. Let's look at the great years that Totally Wild were and all those great stories that got to be told.
I mean, you said it really well, and it is a shame. I've got to say just straight up that it is a shame that it all finished, because I think Totally Wild still had so much life in it. But obviously things do move on and things change. But kids that grew up in the 90s and the 2000s and beyond, I think we're very, very lucky to have an Australian-produced show that had a great reputation. It was factual, it was engaging, and I was lucky enough to travel the country and travel the world doing stories for Totally Wild, and I've lost count how many stories, but so many stories where I was able to educate kids and have a lot of fun along the way and get up close and personal with all kinds of animals.
Have you got a favourite story from all those years?
Oh, it's hard. Now, I should have a ready-made answer for this, but no, I just think it was the passionate people also that I met along the way, people who gave up their lives to, either research animals or care for animals, but it was always when it comes to the animals, getting special access to be able to scrub an elephant or feed a giraffe or check inside a wombat's pouch and see a little baby wombat suckling from its mum, so those kinds of things that were just never got old. Doesn't matter how many times you'd cuddle a koala or swim with turtles. It was all amazing.
And then on the flip side as well, we can talk about the little bit of gross stuff. And I always love seeing the new presenters coming through that are sent out to do those farm stories and, check on the cows and all that sort of stuff. Was that a bit of fun for you to, kind of watch them go out and do those?
It was so good. I mean, with the good comes the bad. There was plenty of gross stuff. There was always plenty of wee and number twos and bites along the way as well. You're talking about the farm, like doing the pregnancy test.
Yes, yeah.
I never actually did that, to tell you the truth.
You got away with it.
Somehow I got away with it, and just let the younger presenters do that. So no, never got that. But I had, I've been bitten by snake. I've been bitten by wombats. I mean, I shouldn't be proud of it, but it's a rite of passage and doing so many stories that nothing ever really bad happened, because I think knowing animals and behaviour and trusting the people you're working with was a big part of it. So, but there was always a bit of dirty stuff that went on as well.
And just showing kids and the generations that came through this world, Trekzone's really been focusing on space and science as in quantum and stuff like that, but earth science as well is such an important part to be looking at, and just being out there and having these kids be fascinated by the world.
Yeah, well, just this morning here at the World Science Festival in Brisbane, I moderated a session called The Future is Insects. Now, a lot of people just brush away insects or they kill them or whatever, but insects are fascinating, and really a lot of them are very prehistoric. They've been around for, they've evolved over thousands, millions of years, and that was always what I try and do in back in the television days, was to make people appreciate things. And when you learn about some of these really insignificant, or what you think is insignificant creatures, about their lifestyle, their behaviours, why they're important, I think it gives you a reason to kind of like them and get into them. And when you see close-ups of insects, they are really something that could be, on another planet. They're just so weird and wonderful at the same time.
Well, Stacey, I know not just Totally Wild, but we were talking off air as well, and I'd completely forgotten about it to this point in the interview.
Are you telling all my secrets?
Not all of them,
Oh, okay, good.
but there were the Agro days as well.
Oh, the Agro days. Some of the best days in my whole career. It was amazing working up at Channel 7. I was still actually working for National Parks then, so I'd just go on a Saturday and we'd record a whole week in one day, and I'd collect all of my critters and stuff in the back of my van and have the most unpredictable, crazy time, as people who remember Agro back in the day. Lots and lots of fun.
And just being around those kids and being kids' education for so long, very rewarding career choice.
Oh, yeah. I mean, kids, the way kids learn, I guess, the best way for kids to learn is to have fun. And you don't even realise you're learning. And half the time, I thought, like, some of my segments would just go completely haywire, but still we'd get some sort of messages through. And I think that's the best way, because even now, people will come up to me and say, I remember that time for some, like, this is a really silly example, but one lady said to me, I remember one time you went to Agro, and for some reason I was sharing a story about how I'd clean my... so silly. I'd clean my hairbrush, take out all my old hair and throw it out the bathroom window for the birds to make nests with. Like, really? I don't even know why I mentioned that, but it just came to my mind. But just little bits and pieces, and I think it just gives people an appreciation. I was this ranger. I was different to a lot of the other rangers, because most rangers back in the day were men with big beards that would look like they were a fire hazard. And I was this young, blonde, bubbly ranger, and I think people could relate to that. And girls especially, and I've heard since, have gone on to want to be a little bit like that. And it inspired girls to maybe take a career in science, become a vet or a scientist, and I think that's pretty cool.
Do you get recognised on the street at all?
I still do, believe it or not. It's like, sometimes it's the voice. My voice is a bit croaky today, but sometimes it's like, I know that voice, or you look like that Ranger Stacey lady. I said, well, I am, maybe 30 years older, but...
I know her.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Stacey, it has been an absolute thrill. We could keep talking for hours, but better let you get back to the Science Festival. Thanks so much for a little bit of your time here on Trekzone. Looking forward to seeing... Oh, I should ask too, where can... Because you are still active a little bit in media.
Yes.
You've got a breakfast show. Where can people find you?
Well, if you're around Brisbane in the southeast, I am a breakfast co-host on AAA Murray Country. So it's an Indigenous country music station. I co-host with Jarrell Yayi, who played for the Broncos. A lot of people know him from back in the day, about 10 years ago. I also work as an environmental ambassador for Redland City Council. So I'm busy, I'm out there, and I'm obviously doing this. And this afternoon I'm off to go and talk dinosaurs. So I better leave you to it.
That is so cool. Stacey, I really appreciate your time. Good luck with those dinosaurs, and don't get trampled.
I'll try not to. Thank you. Thanks, Matt.